Lord Chesterfield's letters. Today is dated August 6, 1741, from Spa. Dear boy, I am very well pleased with the several performances you sent me, and still more so with Mr. Mattery's letter that accompanied them, in which he gives me a much better account of you than he did in his former. L'Andre la Viro was always a commendable ambition. Encourage that ambition, and continue to deserve the praises of the praiseworthy. While you do so, you shall have whatever you will from me, and when you cease to do so, you shall have nothing. I am glad you have begun to compose a little. It will give you an habit of thinking upon subjects, which is at least as necessary as reading them. Therefore, pray send me your thoughts upon the subject. And there's a Latin quotation here from Pharisee to page 381. It is a part of Cato's character in Lucan, who says that Cato did not think himself born for himself only, but for all mankind. Let me know whether you think that a man is born only for his own pleasure and advantage, or whether he is not obliged to contribute to the good of the society in which he lives and of all mankind in general. This is certain, that every man receives advantages from society which he could not have if he were the only man in the world. Therefore, is he not in some measure a debt to society? And is he not obliged to do for others what they do for him? You may do this in English or Latin, which you please, for it is the thinking part and not the language that I mind in this case. I warned you in my last against those disagreeable tricks and awkwardnesses which many people contract when they are young by the negligence of the parents, and cannot get quit of them when they are old, such as odd motions, strange postures, and ungenteel carriage. But there is likewise an awkwardness of the mind that ought to be, and with care may be avoided, as for instance to make or forget names. To speak of Mr. What ye call him, or Miss Thingham, or he d'ye call her, is excessively awkward and ordinary. To call people by improper titles and appellations is so too, as my lord for sir, and sir for my lord. To begin a story or narration when you are not perfect in it, and cannot go through with it, but are forced possibly to say in the middle of it, I have forgot the rest, is very unpleasant and bungling. One must be extremely exact, clear, and precise in everything he says. Otherwise, instead of entertaining or informing others, one only tires and puzzles them. The voice and manner of speaking too are not to be neglected. Some people almost shut their mouths when they speak, and mutter so, and they are not to be understood. Others speak so fast and sputter that they are not to be understood either. Some always speak as loud as if they are talking to deaf people, and others so low one cannot hear them. All these habits are awkward and disagreeable, and are to be avoided by attention. They are the distinguishing marks of the ordinary people who have had no care taken of their education. You cannot imagine how necessary it is to mind all these little things, for I have seen many people with great talents ill received for what of having these talents too, and others well received only from their little talents, and who had no great ones.